The Architecture of the Soul, Thoreau's Experiment in Deliberate Living. Introduction. Henry David Thoreau's Walden, 1854, is far more than a simple naturalist's diary. It is a seminal work of transcendentalism, a 19th-century American philosophical movement that prioritized intuition and the individual's spiritual connection to nature over societal institutions. Writing during a time of rapid industrialization, Thoreau embarked on a 2-year social experiment at Walden Pond to confront what he perceived as the spiritual decay of his era. As the critic E.B. White noted a century later, Walden serves as an invitation to life's dance, offering a vitamin-enriched critique of a society that has lost its way in the pursuit of material gain, parency, the economy of living, and quiet desperation. The foundational concept of the book is established in its first and longest chapter, Economy. Here, Thoreau redefines the meaning of wealth and labor. He famously observes that the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, a term describing the internal crisis of people who work jobs they hate to pay for lives they don't enjoy. To Thoreau, the true cost of any item is not its market price, but the amount of life one must exchange for it. He argues for a life of simplicity. Simplify, simplify, suggesting that by reducing our physical needs to the necessaries of life, food, shelter, clothing, and fuel, we reclaim our temporal and spiritual freedom. Deliberate living versus industrial progress. Thoreau's primary motivation for moving to the woods was to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if he could learn what it had to teach. This intentionality was a protest against the machine in the garden, a scholarly term for the tension between the pastoral ideal and the encroaching industrial revolution. The Fitchburg Railroad, which passed near his cabin, serves as his primary symbol for this intrusion. While his neighbors viewed the railroad as a sign of progress, Thoreau saw it as a distraction that tethered men to a frantic, artificial schedule. He believed that modern improvements were often merely improved means to an unimproved end, distracting the individual from the uninterrupted poem of creation. The Conscience and the Hair Shirt. E.B. White describes Thoreau as a hair shirt, a person whose rigid principles make those around him uncomfortable. This is because Thoreau's philosophy of self-reliance demands a level of moral integrity that most people find impossible to maintain. His stay at Walden was not an escape from reality, but a battle to stay wide awake. By following the seasonal cycle of the pond, from the frozen isolation of winter to the rebirth of spring, Thoreau demonstrates that spiritual awakening is a continuous process of shedding society's labels to discover the raw self beneath. Conclusion. In conclusion, Walden remains a vital text because it addresses the universal human dilemma, the struggle to remain an individual in a conformist world. Through the lens of transcendentalist thought, Thoreau proves that freedom is not found in the accumulation of property, but in the mastery of one's own mind.